understand you don't have to, though it's cool. But it's how you realize I be chilling by the pool with a mountainside view. What up? Got the baddest in the land. What up? And she don't really give up. Baby say she down the slide, trying to ride, slip like a slope. She need a choke with a long stroke. The freaky, the better, baby. Don't let her where I go.
J.I. Reynolds, talk to him.
Get you know deep they go. More freaky show. And who the best for you, baby?
Caesar's in the building. I see you. We're a little slow to the motion, but we're going to get it on and popping. Yes, sir.
And you know this. Chilling by the pool with a mountainside view with your little days.
Yes, sir.
So cute.
Get my boy Jaun in the building.
Dog shot.
What's good? What's good? This J Iris, man. I can't even come to the phone right now. I'm doing some soul searching. Go ahead and leave a message.
Generational errors from a generational era. I looked death in the face and it was just me in the mirror. It got rocky for me when I was
J Iris on the beat and in the spot. Jaun, what it do?
What's up, man?
My habit was older and man, it would cost me stringing along, but I was still flossing. Most won't admit it, I'll admit it. Probably
Just
should
getting ready to get ready.
Really just guilt tripping about past decisions. Feel like Russell Wilson made a past decision. I was damn near evicted. Stuck between the rock and the okay, cool, you get it. Now that y'all know the cards I was given, watch how I'm playing with it. Hope you get the trick when I flip it. And it ain't take me no biscuit. And I'm still getting to the chicken 2-piece crust without a fries you could give me. Try to subtract me and I am the difference. Man, these niggas know that I used to wake up early. I ain't had no ride. I would be on the bus knowing that I would still thrive. Cause I know niggas with cars and they still ain't got no drive. Said I know niggas with cars and they still ain't got no drive.
That's a little bro. I'm calling you back. Calling in, checking on you today, see what you want today. Give me a call back when you get this message, bro. Love it.
I'll admit it, most of y'all won't admit it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know I do not own the rights to this music, but here we go.
Good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio.
There is nothing wrong.
We have taken control as to bring you this special show. We will return it to you as soon as you are grooved.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you.
Without song rhyme and step two, think of how many weeks shows I slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Pops. I just wanted to pop in real quick. Hey, play our words. Pops from Pops Gems. You know, coming up, we got Pops perspective.
Let us tell you what it is, tell you what it ain't. Giving you the real, we'll never do the fake. Life is a gift, but sometimes we need guidance.
Pops Decimal in the building.
Call that alignment. Yeah, he gon' drop them gems.
Pops Gems.
You know he really him. It's something about his confidence to let you know he haven't seen.
You don't want to miss. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Pops Perspective, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
A good evening.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in the midst of it all, we on to another show. And today's show, well, let me do this. Let me do it in the right format, because today's a special day. Every day is a special day, but today's an extra special day for Pops Gems. So first and foremost, we want to give honor to God. Without him, none of this would be possible. I don't know who your higher power is, but mine is my Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christos, the Messiah. But nevertheless, we want to thank God for allowing us to be here. And as always, we want to send a couple shout-outs. First and foremost, and I'm going to do it in a different order. Y'all see this? I was blessed by the best hands in, I don't even know if you could put a limit. I'm just going to say best hands. But I was looking like Ragamuffin, boy, like I was trying to grow a throwback one. I was trying to go to the 70s. You know, I had actually the 80s. I had that Jerry curl going on, that Elder Barge looking stuff, and went out to my son's seasons, boy, and he put them clippers to work, and you see the finished product. I ain't bragging on me. I'm bragging on him. Yes, sir. So shout out to Seasons, and also um, let you know that Seasons has launched his apparel, Create the Panic, Change the Perspective, and we're gonna do a show, and we're gonna bring him on and let you see a lot of the stuff that he has produced. So we definitely doing good, doing good. Businessman Kai, I'll see you. We want to thank you, Seasons, from the bottom of our heart, not just because you're my son, but because you do a great job and you're an entrepreneur. And when you set your mind to something, you make sure that you follow through and you operate in the spirit of excellence. So definitely want to shout out the Seasons. And matter of fact, son, pin your website where they can go and see some of the apparel, and of course you can get. Oh, wait a minute, y'all know I got to put on the Kango. You got to get your Pops Gems pin. You see it, Pops Gems pin, and there it is. It's in there. Let me pin that comment, and there it is. So if you want to go get some apparel, get your Pops Gems pin. You see the CTP, Create the Panic, Peace to the World, and then he got some other stuff going on. But so definitely want to shout out to him. Definitely want to shout out to my youngest son, Jay Iris. And I'll say this while I'm talking, and so that it's recorded, and I'm not ashamed to say it before the world. I am blessed to have the children that I have, and we may not always see eye to eye, but kids are gonna be kids, and it just shows the definition that they grow into their own character. But for the most part, and those of you who know me, I hate to use the word proud. I really do, because it says pride go before destruction. But I'm extremely excited and happy that my children turned out the way they did. I can't give them 100% approval on everything, but when you got a good foundation, it don't matter what color the drapes are. I'm just talking. So definitely want to shout out them, and shout out to my daughters who frequent the show, and just I want to thank God for them. Can't forget, shout out to Exotic Pops, Notorious True, and Lefty Global. They have their business. They're young entrepreneurs. Of course, if you're in the Orlando area, Poppin' Snacks on Orange Blossom Trail, DeShanti's Hair to Style out in Mount Dora, and then they have a place on East Colonial. So make sure that that you frequent them and get some good sodas, snacks, for the munchies. I ain't said that out loud in the mic, did I? I was supposed to turn the mic off. But if you want, if you want to quench your thirst and satisfy your munch appeal, visit them. Tell them Pop sent you, and get a pop from Pops. And so shout out to them. Also, I want to send a special shout out to you, and you, all of my gemologists. Like I said, you are not followers anymore. You're gemologists. And so definitely want to thank you for tuning in and sticking over the time. And so we just excited, and we definitely appreciate those of you who thought it not robbery. Those of you who just started following, we definitely want to thank you. I see the better half of the B&B crew. Shout out to Nabella _816. The B&B crew, and they launched their was it fifth? I believe the fifth season, if I'm not mistaken, on last Tuesday, and they got a whole new vibe. Man, you need to check it out. And timely so. The title for tomorrow's show, I believe, is All Seasons, or the Four Seasons, or something to that effect. So it's definitely worth your time. Thinking not robbery, you'll learn something. You have a lot of fun. Notorious True and Nabella, we want to shout them out. And then while I'm in that area, well, let me do my brother's keeper, and then I'm gonna come back, because today's show is super special to me and to some people that are in here, and I wanna give them their flowers. while they yet live, so they say. So, am I my brother's keeper? Now, y'all know, for those of you that are in Florida, those of you that are watching the news, we got this thing called Milton trying to come up here and disturb the flow of life. But nevertheless, respecting the seasons. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Respecting the seasons on Bloods and Bonnets tomorrow. So definitely y'all want to tune in on Instagram right here, same bad time, same bad channel. They come on at 8:30. And so you want to catch them. But am I my brother's keeper? I want to send out energy, and I know that I usually tell y'all one person to focus on, but because of the circumstances that are going on in Florida, I'm going to ask those of you that are not in Florida and those of you that are in Florida to send all kind of positive energy to keep the least amount of hurt, harm, and danger, and protect those people that really, really need protection. And not that everybody don't, but there's some people that are just really out there, and there's some homeless people out there. They don't know where they're going to go. And so it's times like these that we as humanity need to set aside differences and come together and help our fellow man. Consider it could be you in that position. And I'm sure that with what's brewing, they saying it's a category 5. It's supposed to hit at a category 3. But you know what? I'm a firm believer that even in the midst of all of that, there's an eye in the middle of the storm. So there's some calmness there. And so we're just praying and sending positive energy out that the least amount of damage would be done. Okay, Lefty Global in the building, other half of the exotic pops. So give me 10 seconds, send this energy. Let's shoot it at Milton so that it can push it back, it can wear it down, it can weaken it. So we just get a little bit of water and some wind. Are you with me? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we in the house. Now, today, and I'm glad that Nate Bella's in the building. I'm glad Dre's in the building. I'm glad Lefty's in the building. Because, truth be told, today marks the first show of the second year for Pop's Perspective. We launched this on October 9th of last year. Seasons was my guest, growing up in a single parent home from a child's perspective. And you can go, and while I'm in that area, segue, if you missed the show, just go on YouTube and type in Pop's Gems. Pop's Gems is now on YouTube. So we definitely want you to go there. Any of the shows you missed, we're loading them as we go. So if you don't see it, just stay tuned. We got more shows coming. Nay, I think yours is coming around the corner. When we did that interview with you, when I interviewed the Bloods and Bonnets crew. But some of the or a lot of this, and I can't say enough. There's times that you meet people in life and they make an impression on you and they don't know the impression that they've made. So I want to thank By the Decibel that's in the building. I want to thank Notorious True. I know he may be working. He told me he was going to tap in, but it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it. I want to thank Lefty _ Global, and I want to thank Nate Bella. But more importantly, I really want to single out By the Decibel. He gave Pops, when they were doing the Blunts and Bonnets, he gave Pops an opportunity and treated me well, welcomed me in. True is like family, and so they was doing a show, and one day I tapped in, and that's what begun the snowball effect. And Pop's Perspective is the after product, and they always held me in high esteem, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for opening up a platform and giving me an opportunity, because I honestly believe that if it wasn't because of that, I don't think that Pop's Perspective would have been birthed. And we used to come on and comment on the show, and they was like, oh, we got to have Pop's Corner. And then they was like, nah, that's not enough. Pops dropped in them gems, thus the birth of Pop's Gems. And so we would come on the show, and we would give them whatever information and knowledge that we had ascertained in reference to their topic, and it evolved. And so 1 year ago, I sat out, I talked with by the decibel. And let me tell y'all something. Chronological age does not always mean that just because you're older don't mean you're smarter. And I say this to some of the more older, chronologically older people. Listen to people and don't undervalue them as because they're young. I learned a lot of things from by the decibel, and he was hard on me in times, but it pushed me. It gave me it made me accountable, and so we sat down and we made a plan of what the goals that I wanted to accomplish in my time span, and I've been able to keep up with them. We started out with our own theme song, Candle. We had a candle. Pop's Perspective Candle was on there. Jay Reynolds was the creator of the theme song. Thank you to them and Cozy Lifestyle. Got to plug them. They took us in too, and I learned a lot from them on how to structure things of that nature. And sometimes it's just like you get a raw lump of gold. You gotta shape it and form it. It still has value, but you gotta shape it and polish it up. And so a heartfelt thank you by the Decibel. Thank you so much, Naybella, for your encouragement. Thank you so much, Beltadam. And like I said, they may not be in here, but they are definitely there. Beltadam was one of the hosts of the original Blunts and Bonnets, and so we thank them. And so now here we are, and we have reached our year mark. And so I told y'all that I was gonna do the pins, and the pins came out. I got to get Notorious True his. I got to get Juan his, but the pins came out. It was a big success. We targeted to be on YouTube, and we met that mark. And then we also we had some small things. I had the Swag Bandits on here, and they had never come on, all three of them at the same time, and so that was that. And we've had a lot of great shows, and so today marks the first day. I'm trying not to get emotional because it means a lot to me to be able to have this platform. Because for those of you who know me, I just don't, I would never thought. I'm always behind the scenes. I'm trying to be the audio man. I'm trying to be the cameraman. But to be able to receive by so many, so many people that come on the show and they listen. I've even had somebody call me to talk about some of the topics after the show because they wanted some more counseling. And that just does good to my heart. And I don't like to post a lot of it because I don't want to seem like I'm bragging. Got a guy in Argentina, shout out to the Riddick, who watches the show from Argentina, and specifically left me a voicemail. He said, listen, I was in a dark place, and your show and your words, he goes, I know I'm not your biological, but I call you Pops because of the things that you shared with me helped me through a dark spot. And that really, really touched my heart. So here we are. We embarking on the second show. And y'all know, you see, now it's time to get a little happy about it. You see, I got the Kango. Y'all know I'm normally the Kango man. But I told y'all that Pops was progressing and he was moving to some better apparel. So I want to introduce you. First of all, y'all know I'm from New York. You know I got to represent the NY. But just in case you didn't know, there it is. That's right, official tissue, one of one, the Pops Gems. Jalen, I see you in the building. The Pops Gems official hat is the one of one. And in case you forget who it belongs to, or somebody try to swipe it, you see the P for Create the Panic, Change the Perspective, and the embroidery of Pops. Now, I'm going to offer these hats, but for those of you, because this is a one of one, for those of you that want to order a hat, if you desire to get you a hat, again, it's just memorabilia, just showing some appreciation. The way that the ones that I'm going to offer is these diamonds glow in the dark. So when you order your hat, you got to go. I'll tell y'all where to order them, get your head size and everything. But the ones that I offer are going to have just the diamonds, and on the other side it's going to say gemologist. So you'll be a follower of Pop's Gems. This is a one-on-one. Nobody else will have the logo. It'll be just Pop. And for those of you that want to get one, I would love for you to get one. And And again, we're not trying to get rich. We just putting memorabilia out there. So, it's going to be at a really inexpensive cost, basically at just wholesale price. And then we have the T-shirts also that we're making. That's going to have the same thing. It's going to have the diamonds on the logo on the front, and then on the back it's going to say gemologist. And so, thank you again, with heartfelt thanks to, I can't say it enough, to the Blunts and Bonnets crew, the original crew, the crew that's there now, to Nate, to Notorious, and Dre. I seen that thing you post talking about if you know, you know. Don't drop in the O and don't swing by. You know what? If you come down this way, it pops up. We could sit around the coffee table of life and talk about some things. But all right, enough of that. Second year, let's get it popping. Today's topic is as always. There's a lot of things, and I'm glad it kind of went this way because today's topic kind of coincides with the. I like to give analogies, and so with what's going on right now with Milton, it's kind of helping me with the topic of the show. Today is the power of words, and so Jalen said, "You wish your hair wasn't that big." They make big ones. They got them snapbacks. You might have to put two hats together or something, but that's okay. Um, so today, the power of words is crazy. A lot of people don't understand that you can do a lot of damage with just words. You don't have to physically put your hands on anybody. There's a thing called defamation of character, and you can slander somebody's name. And so I don't think that sometimes we really take into consideration and fathom the power of words. Now, I keep telling y'all there's two things that you can't get back: words and time. Once you put that word out there, it's out there. And how you use that word determines the effect that it has on people. And I'm sure each and every one of us has run into some people. They got what they call a real sharp tongue. And what I've come to learn is that we need to be careful how we use words, because there is life and death. Without getting too biblical, there's life and death in the words. You could speak something into existence, and over time, as we get in discussion with this, you'll find out that people have formed and destroyed with just opening their mouth. And let me start by saying this. Like, if you go in a room and you meet somebody and they don't say nothing, you don't know how. They used to tell me, they have a saying that says, you don't know how dumb someone is until they open their mouth. Because they can be very distinguished, very esteemed, and not say a mumbling word, and you don't know. You also, by the same token, don't know how intelligent someone is until they open up their mouth and they start speaking. So, as always, word by definition is a single distinct, meaningful element of speech or writing, used with others or sometimes alone to form a sentence, and typically shown in a space on either side when written or printed. So, words, as according to this, they can form things also other than a sentence. Now, I'm going to close up the tablet because I just want to talk to y'all tonight. I got my good friend Jaun in here. And for those of you that are in Florida, please, 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 before we go any further, make sure that you secure yourself, get what you need for this hurricane. If you don't feel it's going to be safe, then, evacuate to a safer place. But please, ma'am, please, sir, take care of yourself. So when I was thinking about the topic of words, it took me back, because there's probably going to be a part two, but you can have a positive outcome and have positive reinforcements, and words can be used to edify, glorify, magnify, uplift, encourage, motivate, consultation. All of these things can be used in a positive format. And there's times that we're not careful on what we say and how it affects people. And sometimes it's just like if you have a glass of water or a body of water, not even a glass of water, a body of water, and you drop a rock, there's an initial impact, and the rock will sink down, and then that initial impact, do the bloop, but there's a ripple effect. And so the ripple effect demonstrates the aftermath of what that rock did into the water. It caused the waves to start forming. And sometimes we drop words and don't really understand the ripple effect that it has on people. And those can be either positive words and those can be negative words. And so it's just like, because there's a lot of examples, and I don't want to jump all over the place, but we'll deal with positivity, positive reinforcement. There's some motivational speakers that can speak, and no matter what state of mind you're in, they can elevate you to a higher plane if you allow the words to permeate and the ripple effect of the words, not just the main impact, but the ripple effect of the words can change the course of your life. For example, I was in the Navy. I did a stint in the Navy. I was on the USS Ranger, and that's a big ship. USS Ranger is like a small city, holds about 5,000 people. And as big as that ship is, there was a small rudder that gave the ship its direction. And so when you turn the wheel, that rudder turned, and it used the current on which way it was to go. So it wasn't the size of the ship, it was the rudder that gave it its direction. And what I mean by that, this tongue that you have, you can set the course and it can destroy. It's not beyond destroying, also edifying. And like a ship, if you set the course, it would take time for that to swing around. So you might tell somebody something today, but the effect or the aftermath of that may not come for a while because it didn't sink in. They didn't take hold of it yet. And there's too many times that we use words so frivolously, so uncaringly, that we don't know the damage that it's doing or when to use words of positivity. There's a thing called corrective criticism, where the corrective criticism is designed to edify and build that person. And if you have, we've been talking about friends, if you have a friend and they come to you like Juan and I, if Juan sees me doing something that's out of character or something that's not conducive to me, he is a friend enough to tell me, hey, listen, Paul, I just got to tell you, you was out of line, you was out of pocket, you shouldn't have said that. And I have to be able, as a mature person, and this will separate people from immaturity and maturity. A mature person can, and that's why I hate to hear the phrase, I'm grown. I'm grown means that you've exceeded the possibility of correction, that you are it. You're not, you're grown. You don't want to listen to nobody say, I'm grown. You can't tell me nothing, I'm grown. But yet, what you're doing is you're robbing yourself of somebody's care and input, that they care enough about you to come to you and want to see you do better. So don't always refute words and get so high-minded that can't nobody tell you nothing. I'm just talking. So when it deals with, and there's a lot of examples, when it deals with friendship, how you console somebody makes a lot of difference on how they'll receive it. As a matter of fact, your tone, your enunciation, and your delivery can make or break somebody, because you could say something in a very harsh way and it can cut, or you could say the exact same thing, sprinkle a little bit of love and care on it, and it'll be received better. Like that saying, they say you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Okay, so if you care about somebody, choose your words carefully so that they will gravitate towards you and receive it. Now, they may not follow your advice, but at least they're open to hear your advice. Juan, jump in here. Talk to him for a minute.
Yeah, I'm glad you use that word maturity, because I think sometimes when we open our mouth, we we sometimes, grandmama used to say, just because it come up don't mean it got to come out. When you say things, and it took me a while, and I won't say a while as in, recently, but it took me a while in life to recognize sometimes we need to be quiet, think about what it is that we're going to say, because we're talking about a process. Communication is a process. I used to talk about this. We have the sender, the receiver, the message, and then the most important part to me is the interpretation of what it is that you said. A lot of people say things, well, I said what I said, and I said, wait a minute. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And I had a conversation with a young lady today about road rage, but it's relevant to what you're talking about. What is it that you're trying to do? If you truly have stepped out of line, and I call you up and I say, hey, Paulie, check it out, man. I heard something you say the other day, and it could just be me. It's an observation. But listen, brother, the way you said that the other day, man, I don't know how it was received on that end, but just from where I was, this is how I took it. Now, there's a thing called intent over impact. You intended to say this, but this is how it impacted somebody. But even more so important, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? If I want you to listen to me, I can't call you up, hey, motherfucker, I heard you said some old BS, yada, yada. You're going to be like, whoa, man, your tone, brother, your tone is all wrong, because tone is a part of that process of communication. And so I think if we get off of this whole thing and understand what is the intent behind the words that are coming out of your mouth, because they're very intentional. We pick our words very carefully. A couple of weeks ago, I was at my class reunion, and a guy says, man, you're still the same. I said, what are you talking about? He says, brother, you pick your words very carefully. And so that means that I learned from way back, what is it that I want to accomplish? And so let me pick the best words. But then let's say I don't pick the best words. You and I'm able to look at you. I said, hey, listen, man, the way I came at you the other day, I probably could have said that in a different manner, taking your response. And then I say something that a lot of people have a hard time doing, and I don't understand it. Brother, I apologize, man. That's not what I meant. Give me a chance to say it again. And I don't know why apologizing or saying I'm sorry after we have said something that was foul as hell, we have a hard time. I don't understand it. I didn't understand it as a kid. I don't understand it. I didn't understand it in my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, and now in my 60s. I still don't understand it. And it's a sense of arrogance, I believe, and a lack of maturity that will not allow people to just, brother, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant, man. I meant to say that, but I wanted it to be received in this manner, if that makes sense.
And I agree. And a couple comments off of that. That's why, number one, I hate texting. Because texting can be misconstrued so much because the intent of the words may not be received by the receiver. So that's number one. Number two, I think the one of the reasons that people have a hard time apologizing is because they've come to the knowledge of the destruction, and they may even have, like you said, they may even be embarrassed when they really take time to think about what it was. And it's not so much what they said, but it was the effect that it had on it. And apologizing is a wonderful thing. But like I said at the beginning of the show, there's two things you can't get back, and that's words and time. And so what apology does, and this is an example, it's gonna take time. They say time heals all wounds, and I'll even go with that. You understand? And they could forgive you, but they may never forget. And so what happens is once the apology is given, apology can serve as and is synonymous to a band-aid to a cut. It promotes healing. The apology will try to ease the impact of the words. However, when you pull that band-aid off, you still got a what? A scar. And so what happens is when we use words frivolously without concern on how the impact that it's going to make, okay, we end up as they say, eating crow. We don't know how damaging it is. Let me give you an example. When you tell a child at a young age, a very impressionable age, that they're never going to amount to anything, that they're going to be like their father, a deadbeat, or whatever the scenario is, what you're doing is you're subliminally implanting a thought process in their mind that they gravitate to, because the more repetition is the greatest teacher. You know, when you was in school, you had to write your timetables out. Why? Because the more you wrote them, the more you remembered them. So if you consistently putting the individual that you're addressing in a negative format, all you're doing is building a subliminal message that person is going to gravitate to. And that's why I say parents should never argue in front of their children. You should never call anybody out their name or out of character, especially when there's formative minds around, because they're going to remember that. And then if they see it as a norm, then they're going to grow up thinking that that's the thing to do. And so many times people have been in abusive relationships, and when you go to question them, they say, well, that's how my mom and dad used to be. But that doesn't make it right. But that's all that it was exposed to. That's all that was embedded in their mindset. And so you have an individual child that you say, well, how come you're not trying? Well, you can't blame the child for not trying. You told that child he would never amount to anything. You killed any kind of courage or any kind of funny, we talk about words and I get to any kind of motivation that you nipped it in the bud.
You using those words like dumb and stupid. You couldn't use those words when I was growing up. You better not let daddy catch you. Dumb and stupid. You get slapped in the mouth. But something later on, after I took a couple of courses, man, in mediation, facilitation, and one that sticks out with me, and I never liked it because the negative connotation associated with it said the same thing. If I'm talking to you and you say something to me and my tone is elevated, and I look at you, I said, now does that make any sense? Does that make any damn sense? What have I just done? I just called you stupid. I didn't say it, but I just called you stupid. And so I listen, and now it's hard for me because I listen to words that people are saying around me, and I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have said that. And then I look at people's reaction, and I remember maybe a few years back, I had somebody to work for me. They said something to one of the supervisors or subordinate to them. Does that make any sense? Tell me how that makes sense. And I said, you know why the person got quiet? Number one, because they were older than you. That's the first thing. Number two is because you called them stupid. I didn't call them stupid. And so then I played it back and I said it. They thought about it. Well, I didn't mean it like that. I said, that's exactly how it came across. Does that make any sense? Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how. And then I added, tell me how that makes sense, stupid. Tell me how that makes sense, dummy. Oh, the tone. It's the same thing.
It's the same
but
thing.
No one ever. Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. And to even go with that, there's the power that is when you speak something into the atmosphere, okay, it's going to resonate and it's going to hit its target. And so, and I got to step to the biblical on this. Those of you that follow or read the Bible, when it talks about the creation of the world, it was formed by words. If you remember in Genesis, it says, the Lord said, let there be this, let there be that, let there be, let there be, let there be. So words have a great power. And when you go to address something, it's a wise man that's slow to speak and considers his words carefully so that they can hit the target. In the same way, I mean, it doesn't even have to be parent-child. I see so many relationships that people will down their spouse, and then they wonder why they built an inferiority complex because you use words like bricks, and you built a house of inferiority complex in that individual's mind. And so now they don't feel that they can jump over that brick wall that you have set up for them because you've been telling them for years they're nothing, they're this, I don't appreciate you, this, that, and the other. So now let me sidestep and take it out of the realm of individuals. There's people that go around and they need a job, they need a job, they need a job, and then they get the job that they want. And then they start complaining about it. And in retrospect, they start cursing their seed core. When you start complaining about something and you putting that out into the atmosphere, then the atmosphere recognizes that negativity. And so now you're talking against that which is providing you, is one of your sources. And so when that goes dry, you can't blame nobody but yourself because you pronounced it. I hate this job. I can't wait to leave. I'm going to quit. Boy, I wish they fired me, this, that, and other. And then when it comes to pass, you wonder why it came to pass. That's why it's very, very important that we're careful with the words that we use, especially toward one another. And then let me go a little deeper. Even the words we say to our own self, because it starts in your mind before it comes out of your mouth. So you can, in your own mind, condemn yourself. And that's why you have to be careful with what you feed your spirit, if I could say it that way, without being biblical. You have to be careful what you allow in to your mentality because it's going to form whatever it is that it planned to do. And if you start watching a lot of things and you let that into your mind, it's going to formulate, and that's what's going to be creative. And then what goes in got to come out.
The brain. Yep, you're right, man. The brain is the strongest muscle you got. It's that little cartoon of that train. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I know I can. I will. And as he starts to move, then guess what? He has motivated every being of who he is, that train, or who you are as a person. And then you have talked yourself, and you've done it. It's easy. My son was telling me, and I mean, all of my kids are they think outside the box. But I remember my son was telling me a story about one of his buddies that he went to Ranger School with, and he said, "Daddy, I knew he was done." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, the Ranger instructor was on him, and by about the third barrage, kid dropped his head." He said, "Daddy, he was done. He didn't last five more minutes after that." Yeah, that's it. Because he listened to what was being said to him. He let it get into his psyche, and he just, I just might as well quit. Didn't last 5 more minutes. He was gone. He said, "I knew it." And that's that whole thing. Like you said, in your psyche, you hear it, and I believe we all have that subconscious little person that sits on our shoulder, like the little cartoon with the little devil telling you, say this, don't say this. Well, why would you say that? That doesn't sound right. That's mean. This, but we ignore it out of ignorance and out of being immature, and some of us, unfortunately, because I watch, so-called grown people, I think that's a number thing. But some grown people will never be mature enough to stop acting like they done lost their doggone mind.
There's a power, and when you're dealing with, because, and I think my oldest son, he kind of takes this from me after me. When I was coming up, I was the type of person that don't tell me I can't do something, because even though that's negative, I'm gonna use that as a stepping stone to show not only you but me that no, I'm not going to be confined in that box. I'm not going to allow you to determine what I can and cannot do. And just to prove that, I'm going to do everything I can to counteract that and become opposite of what was pronounced to me. So when somebody tells you, "Oh, you can't do that," and you use that as uh, when you use that as a catalyst to say, "Oh, okay, this is the bar that I got to jump over. This is the hurdle. This is the high jump. This is the long jump. This is the standard that has been set that I have to supersede." And then you turn that positive into a negative because you use it as motivation to get you to your goal. Some people need positive reinforcement. Come on, you can do that. See, not everybody's in the same mental level that you may be on. And so therefore, a good speaker would be able to present something that the least amount person can understand it and the most educated in the room can understand it. It's called not talking over their heads. You make it palatable so that they can relate to it and use it, whether they're high school level, PhD level. It doesn't matter. It's applicable. Go
Word,
ahead.
words of word. No, no, no. I'm thinking that folks are still raising young kids. We heard it, but our parents, our fathers weren't. They weren't the they weren't the huggy kissy. Hey, I told you 10 years ago I love you. Ain't nothing changed, so we still good.
Yeah.
But I adopt a different attitude now. Words of confirmation, words of affirmation, words of encouragement. Something as small as letting your kids know that you're proud of them. Let your sons know that you're proud of them. You see, even if they're struggling, every time they make incremental steps towards something bigger, even though they still got work to do, let them know that you see what they have done and you appreciate that, and say it out loud.
Yep.
Don't just tell your spouse, say it to them. Let them know that you're proud of them. You got young ladies, I give classes now on human trafficking and all these different things. And some of these girls are so susceptible to the BS in the street. And it's something simple because some bum in the street told them that they look good, that they're pretty. Those are words that they should hear from their father and from their mother. Don't let some guy in the street don't let that be the first time that you hear that you're beautiful, that you're smart, that you're this. Let that come from home. I tell folks all the time, they say, well, when can we start this? I said, listen, it's never too late to start it. Have conversations with your children now and impart in them, positive words so that they don't turn out like these kids in the street, because everything, it never fails. No matter what materialistic stuff they have, we're human beings. We all need to feel like we're loved. We all need to feel that affection, and that's only going to come from words. It's only going to come from words.
And that's why you'll get a lot of therapists that what they do is it's almost like, and my kids will tell you, I was in sales for a long time, and sales is just me relaying to you a thought so that you feel that you need that. It's they have a hope of fear. What is it? Fear of loss, hope of gain is one of them. And so you present it in a case that if they don't get it, they're going to be out of pocket. But when you go to a therapist, most of the times you've seen psychologists, what they do is they make you open up and peel back till they get to the root of what it is that has caused that dilemma. And then by you opening up and saying it, that's where you get the epiphany. That's where you get the breakthrough. That's where you come into knowledge, and then you can start healing. The reason that a lot of us are the way that we are is we're carrying around so much damage. We're carrying around so much hurt that we don't even know how to forgive our own selves, because we don't know how to talk about it, because we've been bombarded by a brickload, a truckload of bricks that are condemning us, and we don't know how to crawl out of that. So that's why you have to understand, look at the intent. Is it true? Can you overcome it? The positive reinforcement, especially with children. And I'm not saying, that you got to sit up here and be so positively reinforcing that the kid can never do wrong. But the way you do it is you give them an open mind and you give them the tool of comprehension. The lot of reason that people are in the situations that they are is because they really don't comprehend. It's just like hearing and listening. You heard what I said, but were you listening? If you're listening, you'll carry out that which I asked you to do. You might have heard me say do this, and you didn't move. When you listened, you took it in, you processed it, and you put it to action, and then you carried it out. And so many people get stuck on hearing, but not listening.
And that's why if you listen to me, my little phrase always is, does that make sense? Does it make sense to you? Are you understanding that? I gave a safety briefing this morning, and we're talking about run, hide, and fight, and there was some controversy, and I was just telling folks, listen, I go back to what you've been taught, and it's school nurses, and the school is telling them to shelter in place, no matter what, shelter in place. I said, wait a minute, shelter in place is only one part, is only 1/3 of this system. You have run and you have fight. I said, so what part of, and so as I explained it to them and I talked them through it again, and then I just looked at everybody. I said, does that make sense to everybody? Am I making sense? And I looked around for confirmation. I'm looking for the north and south. Yes, that makes sense. I said, okay, because I'm here for you all. But I find it for me, because I've been an instructor for so long, that I don't care about the $50 words you use. I don't care about the $100 words you use. I don't care about you showing me your knowledge. If it's not being received, who gives a shit? Don't impress me with your vocabulary. I don't care. Speak plain. There's a time and place for everything. I remember one day I went in my boss's office and he was telling me about something, and I didn't want to teach this leadership class with our HR person, and we were going yada yada yada, and he's so used to me talking like a soldier and using 4-letter words and this and that. And I said, hey man, I said, her behavior is incongruent with the material that we're teaching, the persona that we're trying to put off. And he looked at me like, incongruent. And I leaned into him and I said, yeah. I said, I have a vocabulary. I said, but I use the words that are effective around here. And because I know, him, I said, I wanted to make sure I got your attention. And using that word, I could have said, she's full of shit, she's too fat. I could have used all that. But I wanted to use a word that made him sit back and like, oh, damn, incongruent. And Army guy, fire for effect. I hit him right between the eyeballs with it. And he was like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Because he would not have heard me if I would have went in there cursing like I'm telling you, man, she's full of shit. He wouldn't have heard that. But when I, zeroed in and used that specific word, whole different attitude with it. And it's about, like the topic of it, it's about the word choice. It's about the word choice.
Here's a rule of thumb that, people, if you're taking notes, you might want to jot this down. When you're dealing with a sensitive subject, try not to speak out of emotion, because when you speak out of emotion, you like the kids say, you in your feelings. And I say kids, the terminology, you in your feelings, and you wear your feelings on your sleeve. When people approach you, don't take everything to heart as if it's demonstrative. Take it in the heart, process it, think about what the intent was. Is this going to benefit me? Is this trying to, come against me? And then when you go to answer, it's like they say, you can't see your face in boiling water. You have to wait till the water is calm to see your reflection and see the stillness. And so therefore, you should also, what happens when you put noodles in boiling water? They get soft. So if you're talking to somebody that's upset, they're not going to hear half of what you say, and the other half is going to get boiled up because they're not in their right frame of mind to receive it. Same way as you spewing out. Again, there's relationships that just because you get mad at the individual, they're still a human being. They still have feelings. You can't just lash out at somebody and then 10 minutes later, come here, boo-boo, come here, no, because the impact, the damage has already been done. Now you got to do damage control.
That's why I never answer an email. Even I don't care what you say to me. You send me some email and it's garbage and you're in your feelings. I never answer an email angry. I let it sit. And people say, are you going to respond to the email? I said, yeah, tomorrow. Once I go home, think about it, sleep on it, enjoy some festivities, whatever I'm going to do. And then when I come back, well, I'm coming back with straight facts. No feelings, straight facts. And I word, especially when I deal with clients, I word the email in such a manner that I push them back into a corner. I hit them with the contractual stuff, push them back into a corner where all they can say is, okay, we'll reevaluate the process, and I could have said, what kind of bullshit? Nope, I let it sit. I had a boss one time tell me, how long have you had that email? I said, it's been in my inbox for about 3 hours. I said, it'll be there till the morning. I'll answer it tomorrow. And I may draft up my response 2 or 3 times. Let it set, come back, look at it. No, I don't like that. Change it around again. Because you know, being in the corporate world, people, that email is like a contract. You write it on there, somebody's gonna take it that way. So I make sure I got all my ducks in a row. I use the appropriate language, no feelings, just facts. Boom. Now hit send. Now deal with it from that perspective.
And even that, when you're dealing with, again, we talked about texting, emails, this just pops, this pops perspective, my take on it is consider your words carefully. What is it that you're trying to convey?
Yep.
Every good speaker, it has to understand. Any good speaker, you'll find out that when they sit down, the first thing they do is say, okay, what is the intent or purpose of my speech? What is it that I'm trying to say? Number one. Number two, who am I trying to target?
Who's my audience?
Number three, what are the results that I'm trying to get back? So when you take those into consideration, you prepare, and you can, and I don't care what nobody says, when you are upset, you're not in what they call your right mind. Therefore, you're coming out of anger, you're coming out of hatred, and like I told you, words, although you feel that the apology made up for it, it's still there. That scar is still there. And many of people are walking around damaged, hurt, suppressing that for the sake of the relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is. There's times that you'll get upset at work because, like you said, it was a misconstrued email and it didn't set well with you. We as individuals have to learn how to process and put things that we've been saying from day one. We have to put things in their place, and we have to say first and foremost, how does that apply to me? Am I guilty of what the words are accusing me of? That's the first thing. Before you lash back, think about it. Are you more mad of what they said or the fact that they said it?
Yep. And
a lot of people get mad at
maybe even how they said it.
You can tell some people the truth, and they'll get all bent out of shape. But the reason they're getting bent out of shape is because it's true, and you hit the mark.
Daddy used to say, I can tell you to kiss my ass if I tell you nicely.
Exactly. what Aries Spears, just to lighten the mode, Aries Spears was like, I was talking to Seasons about, I think it was Seasons, when he used the accent, and the guy be in the club be like, girl, you looking fine. What? And then some guy with an English accent would be like, I'd like to take you home and da 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 da. Yeah. And it was received. It's imperative that, and you don't have to please nobody, but but consider yourself. Always use yourself as the target. How would you feel if somebody came to you in the way you're coming to somebody else? And then be mindful, people are humans. And if they already, if you're delivering constructive criticism in a hostile manner, then it's going to be received in a hostile manner. So now, instead of a reception, there's going to be a defense mechanism. And at that point, now they're just hearing, they're not listening because you done set them off. And what's the most famous line? I ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say. That's the tail of the tape that you did not listen. It's not what you serve; it's how you serve it.
That's right.
There's people that take just plain chicken and make it look like, I'm gonna charge $30 for a piece of chicken. Is the way that I presented it. I made it attractive. I made people want to have it. I made it palatable. And so, to be better human beings, first and foremost within ourselves, we need to talk to ourselves uplifting. If you want to be positive, that's what positive affirmation is. When you get up in the mirror and you say, I am this and I am that, all you're doing is speaking words to yourself that will resonate in your mind throughout the day to give you the motivation to continue. Well, how do you feel when you're in a relationship, be it a friendship, platonic, be it in a relationship where you're eros, whether you're in a filial relationship? How do you feel? How do you think people feel when you address them? If you're constantly telling your mate that they ain't about nothing, then you can't get up. You're destroying them, and that's defamation of character in its smallest stance. Like they talk about people that do stuff, this, that, and the other, and they say, "Oh, you defame my character." Yeah, because you can kill somebody with words. You ever seen, or I'm sure you've heard of how there's actors in Hollywood that have gotten blackballed because other people
absolutely.
in business as well. Dog, don't do business with them. Well, them words killed you in a manner of speaking. They didn't have to lay hands on you. They killed you. You can build people up. You can tear people down. So the whole purpose of this show, and that's why I come behind it, is because I want people to start implementing positivity will always overrule negativity. You don't know how dark something is until you turn the light on.
Right.
And you don't know what's in that darkness until you expose it to light. So therefore, if you want to be successful, then key on those things that are going to help you build, be it in a relationship, be it in yourself. They say strong will. Well, strong will is really just talking to yourself, saying, increasing the confidence, saying that you can accomplish that which you set forward to. But if you go to run a race and you say, I don't think I'm going to win, you might as well not even run because you've defeated yourself in your mind.
You've
told yourself, you've given yourself an avenue to fail. Now this is Pops. I'm just talking. I'm just throwing words out there. But think about it. When you set your mind to do something, you block out all the negativity and you hone in and you focus on those things that will build in a positive light. And that's what keeps you going. That's what gets them engines going. Like I said, I talk about my kids a lot, but I've seen them and against all odds persevere and come out successful. It may not have happened in the time frame that they set, but they built on that. And so by the same token, I beseech you, I urge you, I beckon you, be careful how you treat one another because you never know the damage that you've done. That rock that fell into the water didn't know the impact of the ripple effect. So now you arguing with somebody and there's other people around, that ripple effect is going to help them define the type of person you are. Then you wonder why don't nobody want to deal with you. I ain't never did none of them. No, but they watched you. And what Chris Tucker said, can you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
That's right.
That's why I did that little clip. And then the Migos came back with walk it like I talk it. You have to be careful of what you put out there because people are going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
I got a bad habit. I got a big heart. I'm going to let you get in. I got a big heart. I got a bad habit of sometimes I offer to do things and I don't think about it. And then I say, damn, I done messed up, boy. Now I got to do it because I said it. I should have thought about that because sometimes you do things out of emotion and you don't think of the cost. Words cost. Words cost friendships. Wars have started over words. Do your history. Talk to me.
Yeah, no. I agree with everything you said. I do. I just hope that there's somebody out there, either play it back or hear it. It motivates them to slow down, think about what it is that they want to say, what they need to say, who they're saying it to, how it's going to be received, and then let it come out there. And then, oh, by the way, always leave that back door open to do that thing that I think is really hard for some people to apologize if it was received in the wrong manner. Because, I think when people have relationships with each other, um, we don't, apologies are easy
Yep.
because we understand the intent, and we understand we can mix our words up. What they say? Charge it to my
Not
head, not to my
my
heart.
heart. Hmm.
So we understand. But if I call you for advice and you give it to me in a raw way that kind of rubs me raw, I know that you meant it well, but you're a human. I don't know what your day was. You may have had a day doing whatever, and you just gave it to me. I receive it, leave it alone. Hey man, yesterday when I asked you about such and such, and brother, you gave it to me hard. Yeah, man. Listen, man. Yesterday was a rough day for me. I didn't mean it like that way. The storm coming. I'm trying to get this. I got one foot in the house, one foot out the house. I'm trying to do. Oh, I got it. Then we good. We good. We ain't got to keep. We good.
Let me
I got it.
let me drop this on you. And for those of you that are listening, take it to heart that um, it's a difference between an apology and saying I'm sorry. I'm
Absolutely.
not sorry. I'm not a sorry individual. I
No,
apologize for my action,
that's right.
but I'm not sorry as an individual. And
Don't you
what
hate it?
gives, huh?
I'm sorry you took it that way.
Yeah.
The
No,
whole
no,
fudge.
no. Yeah, that like the word when the word came out, whatever. Ooh, that was a trigger word for
Yeah,
me. Couldn't tell me
yeah, me too.
whatever. That was like saying F you. Oh wait,
Help
hold
you.
on now. And
Yes,
look,
exactly.
and the way we come up, and for those of you that can attest, drop 100 in the chat. You see that, and why there was things that you would say, "Oh, we got to fight now."
Oh, no,
That
oh yeah.
you that you
What
walk up to somebody
what's
and
his
say, "Man,
name?
I'm gonna smack you in the face." Well, all right, let's go to the square because you done
Yeah.
told me that you gonna do bodily damage to me.
Who
But what
was it?
gives what gives apologies the dunamis power to break up hurt is when you apologize and back it up by the action of not continually
There
doing
you go.
the same thing that you are apologizing about, because then you are sorry because you're not apologizing. It's like you step on my foot the first time. Hey, I'm sorry. Excuse me, I apologize. Okay. Then you come back through, you step on it again. Oh, my bad. I apologize. Okay. Third time, I'm gonna be like, look, bro, you just talking the junk because you keep saying that you apologize or you're sorry, but you keep stepping on my foot.
What
So what gives apologies their power, what gives them their honing, and what helps break up that hardness is the action behind it. If you sincerely apologize, you are going to do everything within your power not to come across that transgression one more time. And that's why relationships, the word apology has no merit, because they just say that as a way of appeasing or validating the hurt that they've caused you, because they actually feel guilty about what they did and they want you to give them gratification. Well, it took time for them to get over it, but you want instant gratification because you are now hurting for what your actions did. I'm just talking.
we where you say save your sorry, change your ways.
That's the key. That's the key. If you really are remorseful, then stop doing what you're doing. You can't keep telling me you sorry, you steady hitting me in the face. That has no merit. Listen, we overtime. We longer than I wanted to go, but
Yeah, I'm about to say I gotta make a quick call. You see I'm on the move.
I see you moving. I want to thank those of you that tuned in. Again, this is the first show of the second year. For those that are just tuning in, I want to send a special shout out to my son, and then also, y'all see it, the one of one Pops Pops Gems official tissue. And this official too. This this a real fitted. And then of course he cut me down. So definitely want to say love you with all my heart. And of course that I might have my ways, but in the long run, to the B&B crew again, thank you so much. If you're still in the chat by the decibel. And when I say this, I don't just say it lightly. Y'all hold a special place in my heart. So thank you so much for all of you who have tuned in. Again, thank you to Lady Jasmine, my daughter. I don't tell her much enough. Thank you for taking care of them grandbabies. Thank you for taking care of my son. I know he's a pain in the butt. I raised him. I know he is, but nevertheless, I just speak prosperity over y'all that you can do. The sky's the limit. Whoever else is listening, those of you that took time to tune in, consider your words and be careful of what you're building. Are you building a brick house that people and you creating hurdles, or are you edifying? And that goes even to your own self. Speak to your own self and motivate your own self because you're your biggest fan. To those of you, oh, wait a minute, I got a special guest. You gonna say something to the people, Onyx? Say hi. Say hi. Look, say hi. Okay, all right. That was your 30-second claim to fame. Get down. Next week, I got a special guest. Miss Haley is coming. She is a crumper. She's a clown. She's an entrepreneur. And so we're going to have her on the show. And then the week after that, we're going to have well, I guess in the Crump world, he's seasons Big Homie clowning, right? But he seasons Big Homie. And so we're going to do Crump Fest instead of Oktoberfest. So we got those two shows lined up. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the second year, but it's not the last year. We are going higher and higher. Don't forget, share it, tell other people about it. What else did I want to say? What I mentioned? Oh, stay tuned for Pops Gems Candle that's coming out, and in the next year. When I say year, my year starts in October. So, also we're if you don't like watching us, we're gonna go to Spotify so you can listen and share. If these shows have done anything to you to help you in a format, then share them with other people. I mean, it's not given to you to hold. It's given to you to help somebody else. So if they've helped you, by all means, share with other people. Blunts and Bonnets tomorrow night. Tune in 8:30. Be on Instagram. They got the show. I got to go back and look at it. What is she? Oh, respecting the seasons is their topic. So make sure you tune in with Nay Nizzle and them. To my friend out there in by the decibel. I won't put his location on blast, but to by the decibel, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for helping me and pushing me and getting me to where I'm going to be. This your boy Pops Perspective again. Pops Gems. Tune in, share the show. YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're posting all the shows from last year. It's Pops Gems. Just tap in. And don't just tap in. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Subscribe as things get bigger and better. I share this knowledge so that it can help people be better people because, after all, that's what it's all about. You only get one trip around this thing called life, and it's there's too much negativity. You don't need to be that. You want to live a fruitful life. You want to live a peaceful life. You want to be able to enjoy life. And the way to do that is to stay on a positive tip. It's not easy. It's not going to be peaches and cream. The best thing about a rose is it's beautiful, but it got thorns. You got to understand it's what you make it. It's what you purpose in your mind. And never let anybody put a bottle cap over you. Never let anybody limit you because you are your best supporter, your best critic, and you control the flow. Nobody can determine what you're going to be when you set your mind to it. Don't give people that kind of control over you. Again, this is your boy Pops. Words. We may come back at the end of the month and visit this again. But again, man, much love, peace, and tell somebody you love them. Hug on somebody. Share the show. Till next week, we out. Juan, thank you, sir. We'll
Peace.
see you. And
Congratulations. Thank you, brother.
Floridians, thank you. Floridians, stay safe.
Yeah,
Through Milton.
yeah, please.
Stay safe. Check in. We're coming back next week, and just y'all check in and check on one another. You never know. Don't be so high-minded. You know what I mean? Reach back and help people out, and the reward is overwhelming and magnificent. Again, this is your boy Pops from Pops Gems, Pops Perspective. We out here. Peace.